Always look on the bright side of death. It's Harmless Phosphorescence! Hello everyone, this is Thoreau Smiley. You can't kill me because I'm already dead inside. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh Cece, and I have a gimp in the left leg and 3 copper teeth.
I'm Brian Lesh, and welcome to my TED Talk on why this whole movie would have been better in black and white.
Why does it smell like wet dog in here? It's Alaric Weber.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. This is the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. I just wanted to take a moment to encourage all of our listeners to rate us on the podcast player of your choice. Go to wherever you listen to it, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, the Shack out back, and just give us some stars.
Shack's out back?
Shack. The Shack Attack.
Shack's new podcast service.
Yeah. That would make
Shack
my year if somebody said that to me.
But yeah, rate us.
Does Shaq have a Radio XM channel?
Oh.
By any chance?
Maybe.
He should start one so he could be Radio Shack.
Oh.
Yes, you should.
Bada boom.
That's not really a successful name, though. Kind of doomed from the get-go.
It would be if it had a Q in it.
Yeah.
Radio Shack. I spell radio with a Q. This week on this podcast, we are watching Van Helsing.
My life, my job, my curse is to vanquish evil.
His name is Van Helsing.
Some say you're a holy man. Others say you're a murderer. Which is it?
It's a bit of both.
He has come to a forbidden land to battle enemies that are legend.
Oh my God.
This summer, evil has one name to fear. Hugh Jackman is Van Helsing.
Van Helsing. This was released May 7th, 2004. The running time of 131 minutes. A budget of $170 million. It took in $300.2 million at
Oh my God.
the box office. The box office.
Numbers.
Which means it's time to play the box office top 10 game. This is the game in which I will try to describe every movie in the top 10 from the week of May 7th through 13th, 2004 using the box office mojo descriptions, and the boys will try to guess what that movie was. Van Helsing, it was a big hit. It was number 1. I'm not going to make you guys try to guess where it opened. That's going to become a less and less fun aspect of this game. But we can still guess the top 10. So we're going to start you right off here at number 10. An undercover FBI agent becomes a vigilante assassin and sets out to unleash his wrath upon the corrupt businessman who slaughtered his entire family at a reunion in Puerto Rico.
Cool runnings. Frank Castle.
The Punisher.
Welcome back, Carter.
Welcome back, Punisher.
Welcome back, Frank
Castle.
Yeah.
Castle. That's true.
Hashtag.
As we mentioned before, Hugh Jackman turned down the Punisher to make Van Helsing.
Yes.
Good for him.
Oh my God. I didn't even
Just a
consider
reminder.
that watching this. Yeah.
I find him delightful, but I don't think he would have brought anything to that Punisher movie.
No, that Punisher movie.
It was set in stone.
Yeah, it was going to be what it was going to be. Hashtag live, love, punish.
And playing two characters in the comic universe would have, it's been done, but it's not done.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Coming in at number 9, a man becomes increasingly jealous of his friend's newfound success. That's it. That's the whole description.
What is this? Is this Jack Black in the Poop movie? The poo spray movie?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. The Envy? Or...
Envy. Yeah, you got it. Yes. Was that I think that was the movie that brought to my attention the phrase shart, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coming in at number 8. Oh, I would like to mention that according to Box Office Mojo, The Punisher was out of the top 10 the previous week. So
It
came back. Someone was
With
like,
a vengeance.
Yes. At number 8, a couple agree to have their deceased son cloned under the supervision of an enigmatic doctor. But bizarre things start to happen several years after his rebirth. Dear God.
That cemetery? No.
A similar premise.
Yeah.
Cloned.
Gattaca? No.
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
I got one clone.
I think I'm a clone now.
Is that?
Clone, Ted and Alice. It's called Godsend. I vaguely remember it. Number 7, the bride continues her quest for vengeance.
Runaway Bride.
Running straight at you, bride.
Buried underground, bride.
Yep.
Bride. Kill Bill Volume 2. Coming in at number 6. Amidst a sea of litigation, 2 New York lawyers find love.
Legal.
It looks like we've got Richard Gere and Julia Moore. Julianne Moore?
Julianne.
Laws of Attraction.
Says you.
All right.
Yeah. Number 5. One day in New York City, Jane Ryan tries out for an overseas college program. Her sister Roxy schemes to meet her favorite punk rockers, and a series of mishaps throws their day into chaos.
This is obviously about Jack Ryan, right? This is Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His daughters.
Wait.
Mrs. Pettigrew.
Wait, it continues. The usually adversarial sister decides to unite against the forces around them so both can accomplish their goals.
Frozen.
Okay. So this is the Olsen twins movie.
Yes!
And it's called New York Minute.
Yes! Al gets the point.
I'm ashamed of knowing that.
How did
Wow.
you? Yeah. That's
wedged in the back of my brain somehow.
Al is now up 33 to,
Not the
let's
target
say,
audience.
7. Coming in at number 4. Oh, Lordy. A girl makes a wish on her 13th birthday and wakes up the next day as a 30-year-old woman.
now I'm ashamed.
Freaky
13
Friday,
going
man.
on 30.
Right? Oh, 13 going on
13.
30.
I saw this in the theater.
Jennifer Garner?
Yes, Jennifer
Yes.
Garner. 30, flirty, and fabulous. Which is what she chants to herself as she sits in a closet trying not to hear like her parents fighting. 30, flirty,
how
and fabulous.
That's how I spent my 30.
In a closet with covering your ears, just going 30, flirty, and fabulous.
I should be over them having sex by now.
Why do they have to do it at my house?
Because of my spacious closet.
Coming in at what number are we on? That's 7 points for Josh. He's gaining on you, Al. Coming in at number 3.
Oh, there's a point system now?
I just instituted it.
That's awesome. Yes, they need to be so arbitrary.
It's completely arbitrary.
I know.
In fact, that's the name of this game, the arbitrary game. I'm kidding. That's the name of our political system. Coming in at number 3. In Mexico City, a former CIA operative swears vengeance on those who committed an unspeakable act against the family he was hired to protect.
Oh, Man on Fire?
Denzel, yes.
That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, that one is. Number 2. Katie is a hit with the Plastics, the A-list girl clique at her new school, until she makes the mistake of falling for Aaron Samuels, the ex-boyfriend of Alpha Plastic Regina George.
Yeah, man. Mean Girls.
Mean Girls. That's, yeah.
The best in the genre, for sure.
Absolutely.
Tina.
And, what's her face at the height of her powers? Lindsay.
Yeah, Lindsay Lohan's.
Yeah.
Below.
And coming in at number 1. Oh, wait, that's 12,000 more points for Josh. Coming in at number 1.
And a goose.
and 18 points for Brian.
I'll take it.
Al is now trailing 30.
And 10 points to Gryffindor.
Yes. Yeah, you want to talk about arbitrary point system. Fuck you, Dumbledore. Coming in at number 1. The notorious monster hunter is sent to Transylvania to stop Count Dracula, who is using Dr. Frankenstein's research and a werewolf for some sinister purpose.
So he's Nick Nolte from the Hulk.
Yes. I love that. For some sinister purpose. Even the box
You don't
office motor description is like...
It was never really explained fully in the movie.
Yeah.
Dracula's never have a motive.
And that is the box office top 10 game, which brings us to the comic book character history. Al, do you have anything on this?
No, there was none.
He's hollow.
Buddha
Well,
be praised.
They did make some Van Helsing comics, but it was after the film. I think the film may have actually inspired them.
Does that count?
That would make sense.
Yeah. They simply...
No, I didn't bother.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I was assuming you wouldn't have out. I briefly Googled it, and that's how I found out that there were some post-movie. They all look like Hugh Jackman looked in the film, so the drawings. So I'm going to talk briefly about the Universal Classic Monsters series.
Right. That's what it is. Google Play, or no, HBO called it a Monster Mash on steroids.
Yeah.
So the very first Universal Monster film was released in 1925. It was Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Phantom is a Universal monster?
yes. Yes, he is.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Lon Chaney Phantom. We've all seen it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Then they got Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, The Invisible Man, Werewolf of London, the original 1935 one. The John Landis version was a remake. Dracula's Daughter, Son of Frankenstein, Invisible Man Returns. They eventually got a new one, which was The Creature from the Black Lagoon, 1954.
Yes.
Abbott and Costello met them. Let's see. Abbott and Costello met The Invisible Man. They met The Mummy. They met Frankenstein. Abbott and Costello met a lot of people.
Wow.
Well, they were properties they owned, and that was just an easy crossover right there.
Right.
Bam.
Right. And so these films were kind of like the MCU of the early 20th century. They crossed over, characters came and went back and forth in between. They had a shared continuity.
Yeah, in fact, James Whale's The Bride of Frankenstein is probably the best one, at least in my opinion.
That's a very good movie.
Yeah, and they took a lot.
Good too.
Oh, that's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the underwater shots they pulled off.
Oh God, yeah. I remember Creature from the Black Lagoon. I remember watching. That's the one I watched the most as a kid.
Same. Yeah, I watched that a lot.
He's the coolest looking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick, Abbott and Costello also met Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Nice.
And that was the one appearance of Mr. Hyde in the Universal Monster series.
Well, and then they met Josie and the Pussycats. Do you remember that episode?
Yes. And then Josie and the Pussycats
went to space. That was a show.
Yes. So, all right. Between the final Universal Monster film in the original series was in 1956. It was the sequel to The Creature from the Black Lagoon called The Creature Walks Among Us. And then there wasn't another Universal film until the 1979 Dracula, starring Frank Langella.
Yep.
Wow.
And that was like the lone one until Stephen Sommers made The Mummy in 1999.
What about the
Hollow Man?
No, Monster Squad.
Yeah. Well, that one, was that made by Universal?
Well, it was the same monsters, but they're in the public domain, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was part of the Universal canon, but it's, I mean, yeah, definitely used all the same monsters and was trading on your familiarity with them for sure.
I love that movie, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great movie. So in 99, Stephen Sommers made The Mummy, and then he made The Mummy Returns, and then he made Van Helsing. So he was kind of trying to restart the Universal shared universe.
I think he handled them all well. I mean, there's some cheesy shit with Dracula at the end, which I'm sure we'll get to, but he handled all the Universal monsters pretty well in this movie.
Yeah, no, he did. I mean, well, yeah, he did, I guess. So,
all right.
Well, I don't know. So he was trying then to make another. So, okay. So in 2012, Universal announced they would reboot the film. As part of the shared, they were trying to make the what they called it, the Dark Universe, I think. They were trying to make an MCU version of it to restart that. It was going to start with Tom Cruise as Van Helsing.
Oh, I thought he was, but then he's in The Mummies, right?
Yes. However, that fell through, so they were able to get him to sign on to be in The Mummy. Was
he the mummy in that movie? I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. I have no idea, honestly. It looked really bad. But
I don't think he was originally the mummy, but somehow he gained mummy powers.
Okay.
Mummy.
Oh, mummy.
Cool.
So there was
get mummy powers. Don't you have to be embalmed?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like buried in a hole for 2,000 years plus.
Yeah. So okay. So they announced.
Good start.
So this never happened, but they announced a whole bunch of films, and a whole bunch of casting.
Yeah.
And none of it got made except for the one Mummy movie. So there was supposed to be Russell Crowe as Jekyll and Hyde, Javier Bardem as Frankenstein's monster, Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man. Let's see, they were going to make a Creature from the Black Lagoon movie, a Hunchback of Notre Dame movie, which that's a Universal monster. So
there's no cathedral anymore.
Russell Crowe was in The Mummy. I remember reading that. He had a cameo in The Mummy as Dr. Jekyll.
Okay.
I don't know if he made it to the film, but I know that he filmed scenes as Dr. Jekyll.
Interesting.
Wild.
Yeah. So the only movie they've since made since the Mummy reboot was The Invisible Man, which came out this year with Elizabeth Moss, and I've yet to see in it, but I hear it is really good.
I've heard that, yeah.
So it's probably going to go on my to-watch list this Halloween.
Will it make it? Ooh, stay tuned.
That's a new podcast coming from us. What will we be watching this Halloween? So, yeah. That's kind of the background on the shared universe. Now, how is Van Helsing a superhero? This is a superhero podcast.
Yeah.
So he specifically in this film has superpowers. He's immortal, I think.
I think he's the angel Gabriel.
That's what
they're alluding to.
That is absolutely his first.
He's a fucking angel,
which
somehow
there's a lot there, but yes, and
somehow,
and he fights monsters, and we basically came up with, if Buffy's a superhero, then Van Helsing absolutely has to be a superhero too. There's too much crossover in what they do.
So email your congressman if you got a problem.
Right. So that's how we ended up watching Van Helsing. As I said, this movie was written and directed by Stephen Sommers, who did the Mummy films. We saw him recently on the monthly movie with G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, which he also directed. He got his start way back in the day on The Adventures of Huck Finn in 93, Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book. He did Deep Rising in 98. The music was by Alan Silvestri, whose most famous work is probably Back to the Future. Hugh Jackman starred as Van Helsing. We spoke about him recently on X-Men and X-Men 2. Kate Beckinsale as Anna Valerius. Oh boy, she got her start in Much Ado About Nothing. She was in the 95 version of Emma, Broke Down Palace, Pearl Harbor, Serendipity with John Cusack, The Aviator, Click with Adam Sandler. She is a brunette actress who makes movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Richard Roxburgh is Count Vladislavius Dracula, the ruler of Transylvania, according to Wikipedia. Let's see. He was in Mission Impossible 2, Moulin Rouge. Yeah, I don't know. He's a lot of third and fourth build in a lot of movies. We've got David Wenham as Carl, who you probably... Carl the Friar, who you probably know best as Faramir. The slightly loved son of Denethor.
I was surprised to see him cast in this role. He is not who I would have put in that role at all.
No, but
he did fine.
He was very good. He was probably the part of the film I enjoyed the most, honestly.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, Carl was fine. Yeah. What is all that stuff you were saying though? Where would I know him from?
Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. He played Faramir.
He's the disappointing son.
Yeah.
He was in the first season of Iron Fist. He was sort of the main antagonist.
Right. He's the guy who runs Rand, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Forget the name of the family.
Yeah, I forget too. But yeah, he's the main antagonist, the father of the friend, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's too early.
He was incredibly charismatic.
I've never seen Iron Fist. It's not a minute.
It's so bad.
I've heard.
It's so bad.
He just said Danny Rand a lot.
No, he says, I am the immortal Iron Fist protector of Kunlun.
Oh, I was talking about Faramir.
Oh, Faramir. Oh,
Lord. I like him as Carl.
Let's see. Shuler Hensley played Frankenstein's monster. Kevin O'Connor played Igor. That's Igor. I just wanted Marty Feldman
And Peter Boyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both would have been.
Connection there. Schuler Hensley, he would reprise his role as the monster in the stage adaptation of Young Frankenstein from 2007 to 2009.
Nice.
That's cool.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I liked Frankenstein in this.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. He was all right.
He had a lovely singing voice.
Yeah, the singing was his best moment.
Will Kemp as Velkin Valerius, a man whose name I could not remember, and so in my notes I kept referring to him as Billy the werewolf.
Billy Beckinsale.
Elena Anaya as the one of Dracula's brides that survives to the end. Alan Armstrong as Cardinal Jeanette. Sylvia Cloaca as Verona. Josie Marin as Mariska. Those are the other Dracula vibes. Tom Fisher played Riff Raff.
I swear you just said Blackula vibes.
There was nothing Blackula about this movie, unfortunately.
No.
Just the color palette.
I wish.
Samuel West played Dr. Frankenstein. Stephen Fisher played Dr. Jekyll. And Robbie Coltrane voiced Mr. Hyde.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Who played the dude who's been in every Rob Zombie movie?
Rob Zombie.
The Undertaker.
Oh, that
With
yeah.
his
Riff Raff.
very modern. Yeah, Riff Raff.
Tom
exactly.
Fisher's Riff Raff. Yeah. Top Hat was his name in the script.
That's Top Hat.
This movie has 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that is earned. Roger Ebert wrote, at the outset, we may fear Summers is simply going for FX overkill, but by the end he has somehow succeeded in assembling all his monsters and plot threads into a high-voltage climax. Van Helsing is silly and spectacular and fun. Proving once again that Roger Ebert knows nothing.
I think it's fun. I'm going to come out of the closet.
But the ending is not fun.
No, it's
like
not.
Trapeze.
It's not. And it's a little long.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's way long. So there are a number of questions I have, which I'm just going to need to pose at the outset and see if anyone can answer this before we get into this film. So they alluded to the fact that he's probably the Archangel Gabriel, which is fine, but it took me 2 viewings and reading Wikipedia to figure that out.
Okay.
Come on, Thoreau, pick up a Bible, man. Jeez. No.
Because
honestly, it was satanic verses that made it obvious to me. That's reading Rushdie. I was like, oh.
Right. Yeah. And so just in a casual watching of this, I was left like really confused as to why Van Helsing was an immortal amnesiac.
Yeah. It was so weird.
Yeah. So weird. So weird.
Yeah. Well, it was unnecessary, especially if Van Helsing was going to be a one-shot movie.
Oh, it wasn't. They were planning on making it a series.
Well, there you go.
It felt very much like they were leaving this breadcrumb trail for us to then use in the next movie, so they didn't have to explain all that shit again. Basically.
But the last shot, the Lion King cloud.
Oh well, there's that.
Oh my god!
There's that.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll get to that one. But yeah. Okay. And then, so the other question. All right. Why did Van Helsing?
Where do Dracula babies come from?
Well, yes, there's that. Where do they come from? Where did he get? Did he lay them like eggs?
No, the bride.
He said that was from one egg laying session. At least the first group of.
But
whatever those.
Okay, but he can't.
From her, whatever.
So vampires can't procreate, great, but they can bite people and turn them into vampires, right? Isn't that what's been going on?
Yeah.
Well, we saw in the Blade movies that they can procreate.
Yeah.
It's true.
You can be born a vampire.
Yeah.
And then
already loving techno and piercings and blood raves.
So, all right, I'll just save the rest of my questions for when we get
going.
What
was the question, though?
Well, okay, so, all right, so we find out at the end that Van Helsing's the one that killed Dracula when he was a human.
Yeah.
Why'd he do that?
Because he was a ruthless, bloodthirsty count.
Well,
but he wasn't.
From the French Viscount, or also the French word Cunte.
But you know, it's Europe pre 20th century. There's plenty of like bloodthirsty like local rulers. He's not going around like. But he wasn't a monster. He wasn't a monster. Why is
Dracula historically is Vlad the Impaler. He's buried in Germany. I've been to his grave. It was fun. But he is an actual historic figure, supposedly. So that's where the Dracula stories came from, was Vlad the Impaler. So maybe that's who he killed, but that doesn't line up time-wise, because that's about this time that Dracula existed.
It doesn't explain why Van Helsing's immortal. You're right about that.
Yeah.
No.
But, he just killed him. Who knows? Maybe they had like a feud.
Yeah. And
they were obviously either college roommates or in a band together.
Right.
Dracula and the Heartbreakers.
Oh, and I would like to point out that in the book, the Dracula novel, wherein Van Helsing originated, by Bram Stoker, his name was Abraham Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Not Gabriel Van Helsing.
Not Gabe. Gabe.
Yeah. Well, I just assumed they were trying to tell you it's not that. It's not your father's Van Helsing.
That's right. It ain't your daddy's.
Yeah, I saw a trivia note that this was intended to be like Abe Van Helsing's little brother or something.
Who is also the angel Gabriel?
Yeah.
Well, there weren't a lot of humans on the planet.
Maybe Abraham Van Helsing was also an
was the
archangel.
Old Testament Abraham?
Who is not an angel?
No. Kill me a son.
So, all right. I don't know. You guys want to just get through?
Yeah, we're not. It's not going to answer your questions if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But,
No,
we'll try.
All right. Here we go.
I will not try.
This is Van Helsing. We open on a good old-fashioned villager castle storming. It's black and white.
There was a lot of James Whale looking. I mean, the distant shots of the windmill definitely reminded me of the old Frankenstein movies.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I'd seen this movie. I was so excited when it opened in black and white.
Yeah, it gave me some hope.
Yeah.
Which was quickly dashed.
The shot of Frankenstein running from the crowd with the guy on him and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And then it turned into a reverse posse. We don't get to see those very often, but people running away with torches.
Yeah.
Reverse posse.
Felt like what's that in A New Hope where Han is running down the hallway?
Oh, and then they turn
and then he runs
the
with
way.
a big crowd of stormtroopers and then runs away. Yeah. It's immediately what I thought of in that moment.
Okay, so Dr. Frankenstein has just brought his creature to life. The townsfolk have the standard pitchforks and torches, and Dracula's there too, as are his brides. Everybody, it's a party.
How many Frankenstein butlers will there be?
Drax has been funding Frankenstein's work. And
funding?
Yes, he bought him the castle and the equipment.
And also from a grant from the Carnegie Foundation.
And viewers like you.
And Bill and Melinda Gates. Yeah. And here they were up to something.
Now he wants to use Frankenstein's work to serve his own purposes. Frankenstein says no. Dracula says that's fine. All I need is the monster. And Igor switches sides to go with Dracula.
He's an independent contractor.
He pays me. I love that. It's just capitalism, man.
Right. What else is that dude going to do? No one's going to buy milk from that guy.
It's like, you expect me to go back to the village after this?
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, I'm supposed to just be middle management from here.
I will say, I think they monstered up Igor a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had
a dude with a hump.
He actually had like some Lon Chaney vibes in it.
Yeah.
But
just a simple hunchback
trying to make his way in through the world.
Working.
The only jobs it'll take him.
Yeah.
So Igor sides with Drac, who kills Frankie, but the monster wakes up and flees to the old mill to get some cider and be burnt to a crisp by the villagers.
Or so we think.
Yes. Batman.
This is where I was talking about his wonderful singing voice. His first word is why.
Yeah.
Operatically.
And his second through like seventh words were 2 birds suddenly appear.
That's all I'm going to imagine him singing up that hill.
So terrible.
Yeah.
Your first word. Just why? Why do I exist?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's some. Yeah, okay. So Batman and his lady friends arrive too late to save the monster, and instead just yell a lot. Then cut to Paris and color.
They're just watching the fire, dude.
Gabriel Van Helsing's got a cool hat and a job fighting monsters for the church.
He's got a hat reveal.
Yes.
We saw that in Punisher. Those are great.
And a tactical turtleneck.
And he's wanted dead or alive in France.
Yes.
That's right.
Much like the G.I. Joes. Yeah, hey, what does Stephen Summers have against France? This is the first of 2 movies in which he just fucks up Paris.
And he shows you half of an Eiffel Tower at some point.
Yeah.
I thought that was
when
cool.
it's being constructed, but he's like, half, that's all
They missed an opportunity to have Alec Eiffel working
totally
with them or something.
Yeah.
He's like, why am I doing this? Ding, ding, ding.
So he takes on Mr. Hyde. Are they in Notre Dame?
Yes.
Yeah. And ends up killing him. The public considers him a murderer.
Yeah.
Back in Rome.
In Paris, they're all, why'd you kill that monster? In Romania, they're all, kill that monster.
Right.
Well, I think the stained glass that they break is the stained glass that survived the big fire. Just
The rose
2
window.
years ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yep. That is.
Back in Rome.
It was kind of neat when Mr. Hyde got his arm cut off. It fell down and turned into a Jekyll arm.
Yeah.
Yep. You've got Jekyll arm.
And Betty Davis eyes.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, in Rome, he reports to his superiors.
Imagine having to go through confession every time you want to go to work. It's like, Jesus, isn't there a door?
How many times do I have to tell you about jerking off?
God, I got to hear this dude's opinion every time. Whoa, Cardinal.
Can't you just get me a lanyard?
Yeah.
You just hang a priest over your neck.
Beep, beep, beep. Hold him up for the eye retina scan.
So all right, they go. We discover their monster fighting organization is secret. Van Helsing has amnesia as he was found on the steps of the Vatican half dead.
Yep.
Now they're sending him to Transylvania.
No, they're like, go to the alkaline lake in Canada. You'll find out.
Yeah, this is his second movie as an amnesiac. I didn't even put that together. Holy shit.
Damn.
Before we get too...
How long ago did they find him on the steps? Did
was
anybody catch that?
No, they don't tell you. We have no idea.
400 years ago, he killed.
Right.
Yeah.
So the 1600s at some point, I think.
Well, I mean, sometime between then and the sometime in that space of time.
And I love there's the papacy and everything, but God never mentioned he sent Gabriel to help them fight monsters. Like, he was just on the steps. Oh God.
Well, I mean, if you notice in their organization, there's also a Buddhist, and it looks like a Sikh is in there.
And someone yells, "What in the name of Allah is wrong with you?" when Carl blows something up.
Yeah.
Pretty chill.
Multicultural.
So the timeline questions.
Yeah.
This movie starts in black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we flash to Gay Paris, and it's in color.
Yes.
Drab, but it's still in color. There's a 1 year gap between the fucking black and white and the color part of this movie.
Yes.
That drove me nuts.
Yeah.
I was so frustrated by that aspect of this. Once I realized that, a year ago, that's how long Frankenstein has existed, is 1 year.
Yes. Yeah. 1 year.
1 year has elapsed, and we have discovered color.
Right? Oh yeah, and and the color palette of this movie drove me out of my mind. Everything it was that early 2000s like weird like desaturated thing, and nighttime is never dark. It's just blue.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like thawing snow is what it looks like. It's just mud and that whitish blue color.
Yeah.
There was no orange from fire. That was it. And
I'd be remiss if I didn't point out the extent to which CGI in this is just, I mean, this movie's 75% cartoon, but like early 2000s, like
Speaking of that.
Go ahead, Al.
This movie used the technology that was developed for The Lord of the Rings. The massive computer technology that they used.
Yeah.
And it was the first movie to do so apart from The Lord of the Rings.
Interesting.
Right.
And they used it on bats.
Yeah, they used it on those little gargoyle-y bats, but they also used it on the people that were flying around, including Hugh Jackman, to keep the face, before they had trouble imposing that actor's face and keeping it animated.
Yeah.
And Mr. Hyde as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to say this Mr. Hyde looked a lot better than League of Extraordinary Gentlemen Hyde did.
Yeah, I concur.
Yeah.
I still miss the tricks, the camera tricks that they did in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen compared to this where it was just CGI.
Yeah, this movie this is kind of the height 2004. Yeah. That is the height of overusing CGI constantly.
There was no creative cinematography in this movie whatsoever. I didn't think that except for the opening black and white scene where they're running away from the crowd. Because
5 years later, we're looking at movies where, yes, there's CGI in many, many shots, but it's pretty seamless. Like, you don't see it. They're not using CGI to make people...
But that's a different argument. That's just saying the technology has gotten better, which it has. Every Marvel movie is people in a green suit on a green set.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all know it is. But then there's also, they've got a dude standing there. They've got what's his face, Thanos guy, standing on an
apple box,
on a box, like looking down at them with giant arms, like attached to himself. They have the actual hammer. Like they're not,
So they do have some props, like they always did. They used to talk to the tennis ball.
Anyway, there was the blend of composite shot and CGI versus this, which was just like it felt like it was shot on a gigantic green screen.
No, this movie looked fucking terrible.
It looked like the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
or not the Phantom Menace. Sorry,
Attack of the Clones. Yeah, it looked like that. It looked bad.
All right,
like a PlayStation
in my
4
opinion.
game or something.
Yeah, no, it was a lot. Yeah, it was nothing but CGI. There's no argument there.
And I guess the problem with that amount of CGI in 2004 is that it looks like CGI. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Is that it was not yet at a place where you could have that much CGI and not break the illusion of immersion.
Then how did it work for the Lord of the Rings movies?
Because they didn't use that much CGI.
Oh.
They were in large part actual, like what they called them bigatures. There was some CGI in them, but like not. It was like Jurassic Park. It's a lot less than you think.
All right.
Yeah. This movie did not do creative cinematography at all. Like just disappointing in that sense.
But let's see. So, all right. So they're going to send him to Transylvania to go after Dracula because a family associated with their organization has spent 450 years trying to kill him. And now the last two surviving members are in trouble. And at least one of them's pretty hot. I'm not going to tell you which one.
And if they don't, I mean, Bill was fine. He was an attractive man.
Billy was.
If we don't save these two people, their whole family won't make it to the gates of St. Peter.
Right. All the dead members are in purgatory waiting for Dracula to die before they can go to heaven.
No, that was a lie they told Van Helsing.
Was it? Because wasn't that the end with the Lion King clouds? That was
the Lion King cloud implied that.
Right, but okay.
Because it was it wasn't just her and Billy. It was a bunch of other people we don't know.
Yeah,
right?
all the ancestors in between.
Genealogy. Yeah.
I didn't see anything that told me that was a lie.
Well, okay, that's what they were telling him to get him over there to face Dracula, when in reality we find out that he's the guy that killed Dracula. There's a history. That's where he's from. They wouldn't tell him. The cardinal wouldn't tell him.
Well, wait, they didn't know there was a history between him and Dracula.
Yeah, I don't think the Vatican didn't know that.
As far as they knew, he was just an amnesic homeless guy who happened to be good at killing people.
Yeah, and Anna later
monsters.
That was around for hundreds of years.
Anna later clarifies that everything the Vatican said is true, that they're waiting to go to heaven.
All right.
And if Dracula, and she's the last surviving member, so if she dies and Dracula's still alive, nobody gets in.
Couldn't they have just said, we've got a crack team of people in Transylvania, and they need your help?
Yes,
Montauk,
could have just
travel,
done that. Yeah, that's for sure.
Movie.
So, all right. So the Cardinal gives Van Helsing Chekhov's scrap of parchment with ancient script, points out his special ring, tells him he may find the secret to his past in Transylvania, and sends him off with Carl the Friar, who is also his tech guy. He invented nitroglycerin, an automatic crossbow gun, a jar of sunlight, which he doesn't know what the use is for, while they're going to fight vampires.
I love it because he keeps clarifying like the semantics. I know what it does, but I don't know what it's for.
Yeah, but you're right. He claimed to have read up on vampires, and he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Maybe this is how they learned that.
They learned along the way. About themselves and Dracula's.
I liked this scene. It was very James Bond-like. I imagine Carl spelled his name with a Q.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool because, I don't know, maybe coincidental that Hugh Jackman was actually being considered to be the next Bond at the time.
Weird.
Daniel
Aussie.
Awesome.
Aussie Bond, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been weird, but they didn't go with him. So
no, they didn't.
His accent.
The world is safe.
And also not enough.
At moments. Yeah.
What, Brian? What was
his accent was kind of inconsistent throughout this movie. There were a couple of moments where he was playing an American, a couple of moments where he was kind of playing this British voice. And then there was one moment where he sounded so Australian, I was just laughing out loud at it.
That get your willy digger in,
and Van Helsing is supposed to be Dutch, at least from the book. He was Dutch.
Oh, wasn't he?
That's where the van comes from.
Isn't that his hat was kind of Dutch looking?
It was, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Huh?
Did the Dutch invent the cowboy hat?
No.
I mean, I don't know. It's the answer to that question.
Floppy cowboy hat. I don't know.
I guess I don't.
Slavery.
It looked like a cattle rancher part.
You have to listen to a different podcast to find out who invented the cowboy hat.
Ooh.
He's wearing one of those scarecrow type hats that's sort of just skinny, pointy up top.
Yeah.
Large brim.
He
looked dashing. That'll
be hat talk. Just our hat podcast that we're going to start.
The haberdashery.
Hey, I was
Thank you.
Did it? I'm sorry. They showed off the glycerin 48 in the tech sequence, but did they ever use that in the movie? The explosive gel.
I thought so. Yeah, he blows something up in Dracula's lab.
They do blow some stuff up. I guess they never specified that they're using the gel when they do it.
I think that was the viscous liquid. I don't think that was his stuff.
No, that was different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. I think that may be the stuff that he blew up in Dracula's lab. Did he ever use it? Yeah. Because we just see him flick it off his finger the one time. We never see him put it in a bottle or anything, or like into like a.
Anyway,
a bladder.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
I'm not sure. So, all right. Meanwhile, the last two Dracula fighters, Anna Valores and her brother Billy, are fighting a werewolf. It kills Billy, but not before he takes it out with him. Anna is sad.
Everybody has just one gun with silver bullets. Everybody has just a few silver bullets.
Yes.
Like, I would really like shift over my ammunition production
to silver,
silver bullets, but I had to look it up. Pardon me. The CIA World Factbook, Romania is rich in coal, iron ore, copper, chromium, uranium, mercury, gold, borates, celestine, emery. Yeah, so not silver.
Oh,
so it's screwed. A real. So I understand.
That's why the werewolves are there.
Yep. Low silver deposits.
Yep.
Plenty of plutonium, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uranium.
Or uranium.
Mercury.
Yeah.
Which is also.
That's why they have awesome hats. All that mercury.
So, all right. Carl and Gabe arrive in the village where Dracula lives. We discover that Van Helsing is nearly 2,000 years old. And then when Dracula dies, every creature he's created will die too. The villagers are not too happy to see them. Anna arrives. She wants to arrest and disarm them, but just then Dracula's 3 wives arrive and start killing villagers and attempting to get Anna. They have the most disturbing nipple-less naked bat breasts. Like,
they do.
Yeah, the design of them, the wives, was freaky and kind of cool. It was disturbing.
And no orifices in the crotch area?
None whatsoever.
Scooby-Doo style.
Yep. Just a black hole.
How do they have babies?
You're right.
Yeah, how do they lay these babies? And why can't Dracula simply create a vampire army by biting a bunch of people? He made
There's
3
a whole
wives.
Village down the hill. Yeah.
That's never explained or even mentioned.
Well, evil's just evil. They never have enough.
Well, except when the first wife dies, Dracula says he'll make another, and they don't want him to. So he can turn people into vampires.
Yeah, we know that.
Well, so does he necessarily want a vampire army, or is it just his wives want these dead babies to come to life?
Wait, were they dead babies?
They're cannon fodder.
The babies are born dead. And the whole process that this movie explains is to bring them to life.
Right, but I thought it was because he wanted a vampire army.
I don't know. I thought he just wanted his kids alive.
Maybe column A, maybe column B. They're cannon fodder. Maybe he's tired of losing an actual person he's turned, because they don't turn in any vampire lore. No, they're not just willy-nilly turning. Maybe in Blade, some of the Blade stuff, but. I think he just, I don't know.
So
wanted a little nasty ass army.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. There's a big old fight. The vampires are fine in broad daylight as long as it's cloudy.
Yeah.
Oh, quick production note. The set that they filmed this scene on where they first fight the 3 brides. That was a set known as the Court of Miracles. It's on the Universal tour at Universal Studios.
Cool.
And it was filmed where, it was the same place where Frankenstein and Dracula were filmed in 1931, and The Wolfman was filmed in 41.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Nice. So, all right. Let's see. The villagers. Oh, yeah. One of Drax's side pieces gets dusted, and the other 2 head back to the castle. The villagers are upset that he killed a vamp because now Drax pissed off. He and the 2 remaining vampire chicks get all grievy, and Drax sends out his werewolf and his steampunk monkey bat robots.
Yeah, those were, what the F?
What are those?
They're called Dwergi, because I had the captions on.
Yeah.
DWERGI. And then later on, Anna kind of explained, she's like, if you see one, just kill it, because it'll just, it could be a dick.
They said some stuff about me.
They're not their best.
Those weren't his children, and they weren't vampires.
What were they?
Right.
What were they?
They never, ever, not even a single line, be like, they're his army of the guys that came from the place. Like, there was nothing.
There's just this huge misunderstanding of vampire lore with this movie, because Dracula doesn't need hired goons.
No.
Like,
But even later on, they say that he's used werewolves all the time. But in my mind, I just heard like he's always hired werewolves.
yeah. He's hiring people.
Yes.
What?
And
I saw a note that these creatures were from Germanic folklore. They were dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so little people.
That's where the word comes from.
So he hired a bunch of little people.
Yeah, I see it. I see it in the spelling.
Oh my God!
But
they were just little people.
Like the dwarves that mine things and live underground.
Right. Snow White was a German fairy tale. Yeah, huh? They're like, if you see one, kill it because it'll kill you.
Either way, when they spoke, they sounded like Daleks.
Yeah.
I kept hearing Doctor Who sound effects the whole time.
Terminate. Exterminate.
All right.
Yeah, were they talking through like a digitized mask or something?
Yeah. What?
Could they not breathe the air?
And so, I mean, this leads me to, okay, so we were just talking about it a minute ago. What was Dracula's end game? He's got all the babies. Like, say everything he wants to happen happens. He's got all the babies. What then?
He just wants to live.
What?
Yeah, he wants to rule the world.
Yeah.
In the first one, he just wanted to buy real estate in London. That's what that's that. So, I don't know.
All right. So, meanwhile, Van the Man goes back to Anna's house, which used to be Dracula's house. But
That's weird.
he moved out because, gentrification.
Well, and Frankenstein's castle, there's like 3 or 4 abandoned castles. Like, why is there not at least one village guy like, I don't give a fuck. I don't believe in ghosts. I'm taking that castle. Everybody's living in mud huts. There's a bunch of abandoned castles on Zillow, just all around them.
So yeah, Anna wants to go hunt Dracula right away. Van Helsing wants to wait for daylight. So he straight up drugs her so she can't go out and fight alone. This is the point where she explains that her family won't get into heaven if she doesn't kill Dracula.
She's all angels in the outfield.
Her family won't get into heaven if she continues to touch herself. Like, I don't know.
And I love that Dracula sent his dog to get information.
Right. So what does Dracula have on werewolves? Like,
photos.
Yeah.
He hires them. He's always hired a werewolf.
Maybe it's the promise of the werewolf cure.
Oh, right.
Oh,
He
yeah.
has
Maybe.
Okay, so this reminds me. Just keep in mind full moons, werewolves, and clocks. Those are the passwords. So, all right.
Clock, werewolf.
Not Fidelio.
Man, camera woman. So, all right. So he drugs her, and she wakes up like, what? It seems like it's 20 minutes later. She wakes up in her bed. It's still night.
Yeah.
But someone turned out all the lights.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's blue. They turned out all the lights, so now it's blue out.
What is your answer, Black?
Inside.
Just dark, real dark.
Well, no. There's plenty of movies that have darkness. It's like you don't just make you don't just put a blue filter on lights.
Yeah, film has used nighttime and contrast successfully for 100 years at this point. I mean,
But not usually in a movie that, well, I guess in that Van, what was his fucking name?
Van Wilder.
I said Van Kilmer. No, Groot. What's that Groot? Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Pitch Black.
Yeah, that was in black.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of movies
Mars, right?
with actual like darkness in them, and then like it's lighting and cinematography. You can do it.
Yeah.
I understand, man.
There's
Those are scenes in movies. But
it's like,
not the whole,
like fundamental.
not the whole movie. You know,
basic
not
shit.
with creatures that live at night. So you got to do the whole movie. But yeah, you're right.
So Van Helsing. All right. She's attacked by a werewolf. It's her brother. Van Helsing saves her. She stops him from killing the beast because he ain't heavy. He's her brother. She tells Van that Dracula has a cure for lycanthropy, and she's going to go get Drac and save her brother. It's around this point that Riff Raff gets killed. Meanwhile, there's a light on over at the Frankenstein place where Igor, Drac, and the Thunderdome kids are gearing up to do some experimenting. We discover it's been a year since Frank died. Anna waxes poetic about seeing the ocean, and we find out it's a full moon. Surely the one and only full moon we will experience this month, as is the custom. In the castle, we discover that Drac killed Anna's dad, and then he straps Billy, the werewolf, into the Frankenstein lightning ride and jacks him up onto the roof. So why does someone have to be in this thing to transmit the energy to the hanging dead baby vampire pods?
I'm going to stop answering these stupid questions. How many movies have we done?
Yeah. The word life
but
force.
most of the movies will give
the
you
life force. The life. Yeah.
most of the movies will give you some sort of bullshit explanation. It was midichlorians.
Really,
it was something.
I feel like we watched a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah, and Star Wars gave you a ton of bullshit explanations.
Which it didn't need to.
All right.
Obi-Wan's explanation was fine in A New Hope. That's all I have to say about that.
So, all right, there's a bunch of them, and then they find the vampire baby pods. There's a bunch of them. The lightning does the Frankenstein thing, brings the pod vamps to life, which burst forth like flying albino monkeys to kill a bunch of townspeople. Van Helsing.
So it worked.
Yeah, but not well enough, because shortly they are all just going to start popping all over the place.
Well, I took it as like Frankenstein's the only one that could handle that much,
Could handle the juice.
Whatever. Oh, yeah, the juice and the life switch. I don't know,
I mean,
like Wolverine was the only one that could go back in time because it would have shredded his mind.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fine that it has to be Frankenstein. I don't know.
But
I don't
it
know.
shouldn't
You're
have
so
worked
forgiving.
with the fucking werewolves. So
Yeah.
frustrating.
You would think it would work with a werewolf, yeah, because they can't die by electricity.
Yeah. All right. So Van Helsing confronts the Darkman. Anna reaches her brother. The baby vamps wreak havoc for a while before they just start bursting into green ectoplasm. Drac tells Van that they know each other from way back. They used to
In
party.
the day.
Yeah. Back in Indiana, where they went to college. Billy, the werewolf, escapes as just Van and Anna. And Carl saves a very grateful young lady from the bat babies before they burst. It's very transactional what happens there.
Yes.
Yeah. He whispers in her ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. What he would like to do.
But yeah, she's into it, though. Once she finds out he's just a fire, she's like, yeah, cool, let's go.
Life expectancy is 25. You saved my life. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
The second time they used the line, but you're a monk. Actually, I'm a friar.
He's all, not on Thursdays.
They did a makeup trick right here.
It's Thursday.
With the woman, when after she's been saved, she looks kind of dirty and villager-like.
Yeah.
But then after he says that he's a friar and she looks up, she's like been made up. She's been cleaned up and she's got a little makeup on just to and a little twinkle in her eye.
She's glowing. Yeah.
Is it a makeup trick or is it just bad continuity?
Yeah, probably that. She's
know.
like, ooh, I bet he has a lot of turnips.
So, all right. Van and Anna, werewolf escapes out of the thing. He's fine. Van and Anna fall into the ruins of the old mill. They get some cider and some absinthe and apparently spend the night there unconscious. They've got to have a concussion. The next morning, Carl discovers an important picture. Anna and Van wake up in the hole under the mill and discover Frankenstein's monster. They capture him.
And Frankenstein, we all know Frankenstein can become invisible if he lays face down on the ground. That's how no one found him.
Yeah.
Because he does that at one point for the rest of the scene. He's just On the rocks.
They capture him. He reveals he is the key to the machine that will bring Dracula's children to life and keep them staying alive.
The doctor took his secret of life to the grave.
How ironic.
This irony. Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster just tells them, like, there's the scene later on where he's like being jacked up and like they're able to see him only so he can tell them about the cure. Like, all he does is deliver pertinent plot info and key points.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you this earlier because it's more effective if I do it now.
He's got lapses in his memory. I have the same problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't hurt that he has got like part of his head is glass.
Yeah. Right?
And his head pops open at one point.
Yeah.
Van Helsing like hits him from behind and his head pops open.
Yep.
Yeah, he has like a latch to like latch it back closed. Does he have to like get in and clean parts of that out? Like,
I imagine
the doctor did.
He gets it wet in there, you know?
Wet.
You probably want to get like you want to waterproof those parts, I'm sure.
He's like, I don't want to spill anything sticky. That's how I get ants.
The doctor also invented spray air and air.
Like, yeah, it really jacks me up. So, all right, he reveals that Dracula has thousands of the pod babies hanging around somewhere at his secret castle.
Pod babies.
The pod babies. Van Helsing.
Puppet babies.
They make your dreams come. Dracula babies. They make your dreams
Dracula
come true.
Babies. I love calling vampires Draculas. I just,
no, it's
a Tracy Morgan joke, but God, it's so fun.
So Van Helsing refuses to kill him because he says he's not evil. But they're spotted by the werewolf. They decide to try to get Frankenstein's monster to Rome. They collect Carl and head out in a carriage. They're attacked by the werewolf and Dracula's brides. They kill one of the two remaining vamp ladies. Frankenstein's dude helps out, showing he's one of the team. They kill Billy the werewolf, and it's revealed that Van has been bitten by the werewolf.
Dun, dun, dun.
They show a map, Indiana Jones style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're headed towards Budapest on their way to Rome. I'd like to point out that on the map, they have Budapest south of the Carpathian Mountains, south of Transylvania.
Yeah.
But Budapest and all of Bulgaria is east-northeast of Romania, in which Transylvania lies.
And surely you then know it's Bucharest.
Well, they say specifically Budapest.
Yeah.
It's not pronounced. All right.
No.
Cool. Yeah, it's not where it is.
And I think that this either intentionally or unintentionally explains the very, 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 very short time frame between full moons.
Yeah.
Because this is 3 weeks of travel by horseback.
Well, okay.
Maybe. That was what my brain went to. I was like, how did we get to a full moon? I was like, oh, we did have that montage with a map. So.
All right. I mean, I guess we can take that as
It's not
at least
Game of Thrones.
explaining
People
how there's a
don't
second
travel
full
overnight.
moon and 10 minutes of screen time.
Yeah.
After Van Helsing gets bitten, it's explained that he only has 2 nights until he goes full werewolf, and they're in Budapest at the time.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's after the map thing. That's after the map
Yes.
montage. Yeah.
Yes, much later. I'm just saying that at that point, they have 2 days to get this full distance.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
3 weeks by horseback.
Well, no. But Brian's saying that they've already traveled for like a month, apparently.
Sure, but shouldn't it then take a month to get back?
Did they go back?
Yeah, they had to go back to the Dracula's old pad.
Yes,
Oh,
they did go
but-
back.
They did?
They went back to
Yeah.
Anna's house.
Thing from Budapest. I thought that was in Budapest. Maybe I missed them traveling back.
Yeah, no. They went back to her house. They just, you know, like they I guess they did Game of Thrones style travel for the way back.
They found a dragon.
Yeah.
Flying eagles.
All right. So, let's see. The remaining vampire Lady Bat kidnaps Anna and then offers to trade Anna for Frank's monster at the big ball, which is happening that night. They drug Frank, leave him in an abandoned church, and head for the big ball. Why did they need to drug him? Wouldn't he have agreed to just stay in the church? At this point, he was like their buddy.
Yeah.
On the way, Carl explains that Van won't turn into a werewolf full-time until the full moon 2 nights later, and he will not be under Dracula's power until the final stroke of midnight.
Oh, the reason why they drugged him was to serve the plot. It was so that Igor could capture Frankenstein.
Well, yeah. Yes, it was.
That's the only reason why. The only reason. I was thinking about that too. What? Why is this happening?
So, all right. So, he turns into a werewolf at the full moon, but he doesn't start turning into a werewolf until midnight of the full moon. He does,
really specific rules.
And then he's got until the 12th stroke of the clock before Dracula's power over him is permanent. Or Dracula has power over him. Who set up this system of werewolf vampire hierarchy? And
Universal did a long time ago.
Did they well, I guess 2004 was a long time ago.
Have you never saw any of the combined Universal monster movies with there were the Abbott and Costello we talked about, but then any let's see, Son of Dracula might have had.
Not since I was a baby.
Okay. Well, and even in Monster Squad, the hierarchy has always been Count Dracula and then the Wolfman and then Frankenstein because he's
Oh, yeah. No. I know there's that. But the rules around you've got exactly until the 12th stroke of the clock.
Yeah, I think Brian said that. But
yeah, why the clock, though? And we'll get to the clock part because, it takes 12 seconds for 12 strokes.
I actually looked up a grandfather clock. It took exactly 32 seconds for it to strike 12 times.
Oh, okay. Well...
Yeah. So
they weren't timed belfries.
But who decided that nope, Dracula's gonna hold off having his full power over you until that last stroke? And also, so the full moon doesn't turn him into a full werewolf until it begins actually striking.
Who wrote the script?
The man who directed it, Stephen Sommers.
He decided.
Gotcha. Okay.
Your complaints are with him.
Yes, they are. And I have many. So, all right. At the ball, Dracula dances with Anna, who is in his thrall. We discover that everyone there is a vampire. Van Helsing rescues Anna, and we find out that the vamps have captured, Igor has captured Frank.
Why are the vampire's clothes not seen in a reflection?
It's the same reason your clothes turn invisible when that's a thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So also when the vampires go batty, their clothes disappear. So I was wondering if their clothes weren't actually clothes, but they were I don't know, vampire flesh made to look like clothes.
They're like shape-shifting.
Or an illusion.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the wives have those long flowy robe things that just disappear and then reappear.
Yeah.
Well, they would spin. They would spin themselves, and the flowy dresses became their wings. So Al's probably onto something.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. The entire party goes after Van and Anna. Carl uses his sunshine bomb on the vamps, and Igor sails away with Frank.
Junior.
Frank Jr. Carl reveals that Rome wants Frank dead, and Van begins his slow slide into wolfdom.
Yeah, maybe this is where Carl says it, but I laughed out loud. He's like, I cabled Rome. Anybody see any cables anywhere in Transylvania?
He cabled Rome.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Even
God.
if the telegraph was in use, I don't remember seeing any
telegraph
stations.
Did he have to wait until he got to Budapest to wire Rome? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, his international calling cards didn't work from that region.
He used
Not in
1-800-COLLECT.
Okay.
All right. They return to Anna's house, which does not take them nearly a month to get to, and try to figure out where Dracula's castle is. They have until the sun sets in 2 hours. Then we get a history lesson from Carl. Dracula was the son of Valorius the Elder, Anna's ancestor. He was killed by the left hand of God, but made a deal with the devil to stay alive, but he had to drink blood to do it. Valorius made a deal with God to kill Dracula in return for eternal salvation for himself and his whole family, but he couldn't kill his own son. He instead banished him to an icy fortress. Therefore, every one of Valorius's descendants that dies is stuck in purgatory until Dracula is dead.
So Van Helsing has this MacGuffin shred of paper that was very important to discovering.
Chekhov's scrap of parchment, yes.
Yeah, scrap of parchment. You don't think that would have been something that he, like sits down with Volusium, what's her name? Valorius.
Hilarious.
When they're all trying to figure out in the beginning, it is hilarious. Like, I have this scrap of paper. It's supposed to be very helpful. And she would say, oh, in my apartment, I have this big map storytelling thing that's missing a corner.
Yeah. And they, she showed it to him before. So he was standing right in front of it. He didn't notice the torn off corner that was in the exact shape of the parchment that he's been carrying around.
No,
it's like if Batman was a bad detective and just really good at killing people, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have one fucking clue. You have one single clue, and he didn't show it to anybody until the middle of the third act.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, they use the scroll from the beginning of the movie to open the door, and they go through to Dracula's castle. Where is this castle? Is Antarctica?
It's on the astral plane, right. I guess.
It's somewhere else in the Carpathians, I think. It was very snowy when they were crossing the mountains.
All right, so Van uses his new werewolf powers to gain entrance. They find Frank in a giant ice cube in like a claw machine.
It was like the things from Demolition.
It was like Demolition Man, except his head was sticking out. They should have thought out
Simon Phoenix, not Frankenstein.
Yeah, but his head was sticking out.
And I don't know, Dracula's lab, which is a hilarious phrase. Dracula's lab really needed a vat of Kool-Aid just percolating off.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Blood flavored.
Yeah.
What do they call those guys? The Dwarge? That's what they would.
Yeah. Dwarge. Yeah, they would. Yeah, totally.
They love Kool-Aid.
They love the sweet taste.
The steampunk Jawas. Yeah. So, all right. Frank Jr. tells them that Dracula has a cure for the curse of the werewolf. They capture Igor.
And he's all #werewolfvaccinetruth.com.
And Carl realizes that only a werewolf can kill Dracula. So
that's a little, yeah.
I'd like to point out that Dracula does not keep the werewolf vaccine on him in case he's attacked by a werewolf.
Which he keeps around him at all times.
Yeah, he keeps that in a tower in a vat of acid on the other side of his castle.
When Van Helsing says
in Frankenstein's castle, where he has 2 werewolves that work for him.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
So he figured that out from that animated painting that was back in the old Dracula font.
Yeah, there was a werewolf on that crest, on that emblem thing, wasn't there? Some sort of wolf, and it was on his signet ring.
Mm-hmm.
What? Yeah, but there.
It looks like a British lion.
When Carl woke up from his carnal reward, he found that smaller painting that the the characters came to life and turned into werewolves and vampires.
Yeah.
There was some sort of riddle.
Yeah. And he saw it acted out live in front of him.
It was a dragon on his ring, so that doesn't make any.
Yeah, the ring's never really explained except for the fact that it's Dracula's ring. We find out.
Yeah.
All right, so Carl then explains that at the stroke of midnight, Van will turn into a werewolf, even though the full moon's been out for hours. He then has until the clock stops to kill Dracula and be administered the cure, which, as I've noted, takes exactly 32 seconds for a clock to strike, at least a grandfather clock. I'm sure there's some variance in clocks striking.
Well, yeah, like in churches.
Yeah, but they don't take
the tone of a bell. Yeah, anyways.
But they don't take the 17 minutes generally that the third act of this movie took.
Yes, I don't know.
It was exactly 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
That's still a long time.
It's a really slow clock.
Yeah. Okay, so Igor reveals that the cure is in one tower, the lab to make his pod babies is in the other. Van and Anna kiss, then Anna and Carl run off to find the cure, while Van goes to confront Dracula. Dracula does the thing, makes the babies, which fly away to kill everybody, and Anna and Carl end up fighting the last remaining bride of Dracula. Carl runs off with the antidote. Van frees Frank, and he and Drac fight. Anna kills the last bride by stabbing her through the liver. That was clearly not her heart.
Yeah. It was made of silver, though.
Yes.
But you still have to stab him in the heart.
So she doesn't have to get it in the heart if it's silver?
You can kill vampires with bullets made of silver nitrate in some modern theologies.
All right.
Blade kills vampires by shooting them in the head.
That's true.
Guess.
Well, I just assumed that was like cutting a vampire's head off. It just like explodes the head.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, all right. Let's see. Carl takes out Igor, and Werewolf Van fights Big Bat Drac, who reveals that Van killed him the first time 450 years previously. He offers to give him back his memory. Van Helsing refuses and kills Dracula. Then all the baby Dracs die. Anna arrives just then. It's apparently right before did they even have them striking in the background?
No, just the first one.
So wait, so that 7 minutes was the time between the first and the second strike then. It hasn't happened yet. All right, so all right, Anna arrives just then, plunges the needle into Werewolf Van, but at the last second, he kills her. Van becomes human again and mourns the death of Anna. Sometime later, he lights her pyre near the sea because that one time she said she thought the sea might be pretty. And then Frank paddles away, which is going to suck when he gets into like the middle of the Mediterranean. Like, where is he headed?
Right? Like, if he hits a wave on that raft, all of his shit's going to fall off.
Yeah.
His raft is like smaller than the door from the Titanic.
He's going to get a small business loan and he's going to live out the rest of his life happily.
You'd think that you'd want some like human people who understand you to help you start your new life as a giant deformed creature. You know, he's going to go meet people and they're all going to be freaked out just like everybody else was.
I think this dude really felt like we were going to see further adventures.
Oh, yeah.
All these people.
He really did. He really did. It's almost strange we didn't, considering that this movie made its money. Like,
yeah,
a lot of money.
Yeah.
The GDP of some countries.
Right. So Van sees Anna's spirit ascend to heaven and become a cloud-faced Lion King style. She makes out with multiple dudes who I couldn't figure out who they were. I assume one was her brother, maybe the other was her dad or something.
She makes out with them?
She kisses them. We can't clearly see their faces, and we never saw her dad. Well, okay, we saw one picture of her dad earlier. And then she goes to heaven or something. Then Gabe and Carl ride off into the sunset. And we roll the credits. And that is Van Helsing.
There you have it.
So every time they were talking about Dracula getting killed before he turned into a vampire, they specifically said murder.
Yes.
Oh. If he's an archangel, is it considered murder if he's an archangel?
It's God's will.
Yeah.
If it's God's will? Or did the Archangel Gabriel have some sort of free will and wasn't supposed to murder this guy?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
This movie's rules are like our rules. They're made up and they don't matter.
Yeah. Oh no,
very much
extremely.
so.
It is the whose line is it anyway of monster movies.
They improv'd this whole thing.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, at least that makes sense because they keep saying that people consider Van Helsing a murderer.
Yeah.
And he murdered Dracula apparently twice now. But yeah, it's this movie was ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It got worse every minute. Like each moment that we moved further and further into the plot, it was more and more unhinged from itself.
Yeah. It made no sense. No sense whatsoever.
Was Gabriel not the messenger of God?
Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, he is
the voice
Hebrew, the Abrahamic religions. So there's your Abraham, perhaps. Really talked about him, but he interpreted for Daniel, and
he spoke to the Virgin Mary.
Yeah, he was the mouthpiece,
telling her Jesus was coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was curious why he was going around killing Draculas. I'm sorry, murdering Draculas.
Murdering multiple times, murdering Draculas.
I don't know. I thought that would have been more of an Archangel Michael deal.
The fiery sword.
If he'd been Michael Van Helsing.
Played by
that's all I would have taken.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't have any more thoughts on this movie.
I have one question, not about the movie, but about the Van Helsing comic books. Who published the comic books? Do you guys know if it was DC
I think it might have
Vision?
been. I think it might have been Dark Horse.
Oh, Dark Horse. That makes sense.
I'd have to double check, but I think I saw that. Yeah. So that's it. You guys want to put this thing on the list and call it a day?
Somewhere.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the movie it most reminds me of is The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Fair.
Do you think this is better than The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
The first half, maybe.
The first half was a lot better than the second half of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know.
The back half of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was terrible too, though. So.
Yeah. Any thoughts, guys?
No.
It's hard to make you be
Sound
here,
like this
Josh.
movie hurt you, Josh.
Well, I don't agree. So I'm not going to start arguing over the rankings when it doesn't matter. So
well, no, I want to hear your
50 is
opinion.
good. I gave it plenty.
No, if you disagree, tell us.
I said earlier. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed this movie.
Okay.
The things that didn't work didn't bother me, I guess.
Numerically, where did League end up?
Where did League end up? Yeah,
League
41.
League's at 41.
I don't know if it's that bad.
Yeah.
It was more fun than League. I'll give it that.
Yeah, League is terrible. It was just boring.
Yeah.
It could have been
This
better.
movie made me laugh a few times. What's it like 35?
30,
in that range.
35, we got The Crow, City of Angels.
No, it's not better than The Crow.
Not well.
The sequel.
The sequel.
The first Crow?
No, the sequel.
Oh, City of Angels. Oh, right.
The second one.
The second one didn't make me laugh at all. This made me laugh. There were some enjoyable moments in this movie.
Is it better than?
I'm okay with moving it up this list to a point where something else that made me laugh and smile a few times exists.
All right.
Talking about this movie was worse than watching this.
How about this? Is it better than Meteor Man? It's so pained. Just like, why are you doing this to me?
We're just like, it's like apples and pineapples. What? Sure. Is it better than Meteor Man? No. Meteor Man is a laugh riot.
Yeah.
Turtles 3?
It's better than Turtles 3.
Okay. How about Turtles 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Me.
Then above Turtles 2 is Meteor Man. So above Turtles 2 is
between those.
Is what man?
Meteor Man.
Oh, Meteor Man.
Yeah. So what do we think about there? At if we put it between Turtles 2 and Meteor Man, it'd be at number 27.
I'll take it.
Sure.
All right. Al?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Let's do it then. We're putting it at number 27, Van Helsing. Okay.
Mike Van Helsing.
Mikey Van Helsing.
That's the sequel.
And the mechanics. All right. So that's it.
There it is.
That's a lid on that movie. Next week, we will be watching Spider-Man 2.
I love Spider-Man 2.
Oh, yeah. This has Doc Ock in it, right?
Yeah, it does. Spidey 2.
It was the first comic book movie that I felt like they really got right, but that's me.
Yeah. I haven't seen it in a number of years, but I liked it quite a bit and saw it multiple times years ago. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. What comes afterwards? We've got a bit of a dark patch coming after Spidey 2, guys. But
we thrive in dark patches, especially if they're well lit.
Dear Lord. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, that's a long dark patch.
Longer than Stallone.
Is it just all the way through to Iron Man as bad movies or what?
So after Spider-Man 2, there's Catwoman, Blade Trinity, Elektra, Son of the Mask, The Crow, Wicked Prayer, The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I've
got Constantine on my list too.
We've got Constantine in there, yeah. But I was. That's right the one bright patch in there.
Blade Trinity's bad, but it's funny and fun. It'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah, and then after that, we get to hit Batman again. He begins.
Yep.
Oh,
kind of.
Those are fun.
Yeah, that's kind
serious.
Yeah, that's the beginning of a new era there. So
don't hit Batman; he'll hit back.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the Batman. So, all right, that's it, guys. We are calling it a week. This has been Sex Friar Throw Smiley.
I'm Josh CC, and I'm hollow.
I'm Brian Lesh, and thank you, Jackman, for not signing up for a sequel to this movie.
I am the right pinky toenail of God, Alaric Weber.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Big shout out to our executive producers, Atticus Burkett, Ember Keller, and Michael Beckwith. Thanks for the support, guys. We'll see you next time.